Turning to the Pacific, Papua New Guinea, a country with rich natural resources, has launched an ambitious international trade and investment program. But the country, and especially its capital, Port Moresby, faces many challenges, as Roger Maynard reports.
In the backstreets of Papua New Guinea's capital, many of the locals struggle to make ends meet. For such a resource-rich country, around 40% of its population lives in poverty. Poor health facilities, lack of education, and economic mismanagement only add to social problems and the difficulty of doing business here.
PNG is not for the faint-hearted. Security is a problem. PNG suffers from an urban drift. People have flooded from the villages to the three large cities, Port Moresby, Lae, Mount Hagen, looking for work. Often they don't have the skills to participate in the new economy, and therefore they turn to crime.
Business people describe PNG as having an exciting and dynamic environment where it's still possible to make big returns on investments. But there's also corruption, which is so hindering the country's progress that the government has appointed an anti-corruption watchdog.
We are regarded as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So you can see the level of corruption that has infiltrated from the very top right down to the little people in the community.
But in fairness, not everyone rorts the system, and for big corporates who abide by the law, there are still extraordinary riches to be made, both above and below ground. PNG has vast natural resources. It's an Aladdin's cave of minerals, including copper and gold, which are found in such abundance here in Bougainville. Today, this autonomous region survives on government aid and a largely agrarian economy. But there was a time when Bougainville boasted one of the world's biggest copper mines, producing massive profits for the owners, but little for the community. A civil war which forced the closure of the mine more than 30 years ago claimed 20,000 lives. Now there are hopes the Panguna copper mine could reopen.
In the case of Bougainville, we have a great opportunity now to do things right, where the indigenous people of Bougainville can get better benefits from whatever is extracted in. But it has to be, a proper plan has to be done.
Bougainville's autonomous regional government is also demanding full independence, which was supported by 97.7% of the population in a referendum. But the outcome is far from settled, and in the meantime, the people rely on their modest economy.
The financial position of Bougainville is very important in terms of sustaining the independence of Bougainville.
But independence is by no means assured, with the referendum still to be ratified by the PNG government. Even if an agreement is reached, it may take another decade for the lucrative Panguna mine to be cleaned up and reopened.
In terms of government's priority to open the mine, yes we do, but we have to make sure that we do it right. There's no shortcut.
That means a fair share of the profits for landowners and a community that's not divided by the violence of the past.
Bougainville within the crisis became very disintegrated. Many issues, many people died, and families were disintegrated, displaced and all that.
Today, Bougainvillians and the rest of PNG look towards a more peaceful and prosperous future. 2 major liquid natural gas projects are planned in Papua New Guinea over the next few years, which will inject $20 billion into the economy. It is a sign of increasing confidence by outside investors in a country which continues to face so many challenges in everyday life. Roger Maynard, Bougainville in Papua New Guinea.